Single Touch Payroll Phase 2 reporting will include a 6-character tax treatment code for each employee. The tax treatment code is an abbreviated way of telling the ATO about the factors that can influence the amount withheld from payments to employees. This video will provide an overview of Phase 2 tax treatment. Please see the video description for a link to a detailed article on the subject. Reporting the tax treatment for each employee through STP means that when employees provide their tax file number declaration, employers no longer need to send a copy of the declaration to the ATO. It will also allow the ATO to notify employees if they have provided their employer with incorrect information that may result in a higher tax bill for the employee at the end of the financial year. The 6-character tax treatment code is made up of a combination of tax scale categories and options within each category, study and training support loan status, or STSL, and Medicare Levy settings. It is essential that each employee has the correct settings applied. The payroll platform will then automatically generate the code combination based on those settings and report that code through the STP event for each employee. All the settings that determine an employee's tax treatment for STP purposes are located in the Employee's Tax File Declaration screen. Please note, for the purposes of this video, this is just a test employee and I have not entered a tax file number in. You would enter the employee's number in the tax file number declaration field. First, there is the tax calculation options section. Here you can select any option that applies to the employee's scenario. These options are Australian resident for tax purposes, claim tax-free threshold, is an approved working holiday maker, is claiming the seniors and pensioners tax offset, is claiming a zone, overseas forces or dependent tax offset, has accumulated STSL debt. This applies to employees with a higher education loan program, vet student loan, financial supplement, student startup loan, or trade support loan debt, is a seasonal worker, and has approved withholding variation. Secondly, there is the STP Tax Category section. This is a new section that will be made available to users in the coming weeks. The STP Tax Category section can be used to assign a category to an employee. The categories are actor, Australian residents for tax purposes who have provided a valid tax file number or tax file number exemption reason and are actors, variety artists, and other entertainers who receive payments for their performances. This includes employees performing promotional activities. Employees classified in this tax scale category have a specific tax table that is currently not catered for in the payroll platform. A recurring tax adjustment can be set up so that the withholding amount is automatically calculated in the pay run. If selecting this option, you will be required to select a subcategory that reflects the employee's scenario. Horticulturalists and shearers. This category applies to employees working for a continuous period not exceeding 6 months in any horticultural process associated with the production, cultivation, or harvest of a horticultural crop, or in the shearing industry, such as shearers, crutches, wool classers, cooks, shed hands, and pressers that have provided a valid tax file number or tax file number exemption reason. It includes foreign residents but excludes working holiday makers or seasonal worker program employees. Employees classified in this tax class category have a specific tax table that is currently not catered for in the payroll platform. A recurring tax adjustment can be set up so that the withholding amount is automatically calculated. If selecting this option, you will be required to select a subcategory that reflects the employee's scenario. Seniors and pensioners. This category applies to employees aged 66 years or older, or veterans receiving a service pension, and or war widows or widowers receiving an income support supplement from the Department of Veterans Affairs who are at least 60 years of age. Employees classified in this tax scale category have a specific tax table that is currently not catered for in the payroll platform. Again, a recurring tax adjustment can be set up so that the withholding amount is automatically calculated. If selecting this option, you'll be required to select a subcategory that reflects the employee scenario. ATO defined. This category applies where the ATO issues a written notice to an employer to vary the PAYG withholding downwards of an employee, or where the payee is a death beneficiary who is also not an employee, or where the employee is not covered by any other tax table, such as a non-employee for superannuation guarantee purposes only. If selecting this option, you will be required to select a subcategory that reflects the employee's scenario. Daily casuals. This category applies to employees whose work patterns are irregular and have no job certainty, such as casuals who may only rely on daily income regardless of the frequency of payday. It excludes working holiday makers, seasonal worker program employees, and foreign residents. Employees classified in this tax scale category have a specific table that is not currently catered for in the payroll platform. Again, a recurring tax adjustment can be set up so that the withholding amount is automatically calculated in the pay run. Finally, we have the Medicare Levy section. This is a new section that will also be available to users in the coming weeks. The Medicare Levy helps fund some of the costs of Australia's public health system, known as Medicare. The Medicare Levy is 2% of an employee's taxable income and is in addition to the tax paid on taxable income. The Medicare Levy is automatically calculated as part of the PAYG amount withheld in the pay run, and an employee's actual Medicare Levy is calculated upon lodging their income tax return. An employee may be eligible for a reduction or exemption from paying the Medicare Levy, depending on the circumstances of the individual and their spouse. Determining eligibility for a reduction or exemption is the responsibility of the employee. Any employee should communicate any Medicare circumstances by completing a Medicare Levy variation declaration form and providing this form to their employer. Only then should any of these settings be configured for an employee. These three settings are Medicare Levy exemption, Medicare Levy reduction, or Medicare Levy surcharge. The surcharge is where an employee wants to increase their withholding amount to cover the Medicare Levy surcharge. Please note that only employees with a tax scale category of regular, excluding daily casuals and those not claiming the tax-free threshold, or seniors and pensioners are eligible to select one of the Medicare Levy options. A regular employee is one not otherwise covered by the previously discussed STP tax categories and could also include directors, office holders, religious practitioners, labour hire workers, and Pacific Labour Scheme workers. There is no specific setting that users need to configure for this tax scale category. Rather, the system will recognise and report this category automatically. Additionally, if an employee is claiming a full Medicare Levy exemption, they cannot also claim a reduction. For more information on STP Phase 2 reporting, please see our other videos.